Hey guys, so it's been a bit of a crazy time in the Tekken community right now. I haven't seen the Tekken base really rally like this against Harada and the Tekken team really ever, to be honest with you. And it's all coming off the back of this Genmaji stage. Now, the reason that we're still talking about it is that it's still very much a hot topic within the Tekken community. And it's really symbolic of, I think, the frustrations that people have with the game. Now, there's a bunch of things that I want to reference here today because there's a lot of things that have happened since I last uploaded a couple of days ago. The first thing is that Harada has redacted his apology. The reason I'm saying redacted is that the apology was deleted off Twitter. So his acknowledgement of the poor communication, which, you know, even though I had a bad take on it before and I probably had too much of a knee-jerk reaction, even I can see that an apology, when you're the leader of something and you are really seen as the figurehead of a community, I think is the right thing to do. But he's deleted that now. Now there's a lot of speculation that it's Bandai Namco that did it because it was kind of like he was pushing the blame on them. When I saw the apology initially, I was like, this is good, you know, he's communicating. But having spoken to a lot of you guys, having read your comments, having spoken to Frame Whisperer and other YouTubers and other people in the community, I do completely understand where people are saying it's not enough because of all of the lies that have been told previously. And when I reacted to it, I looked at it as an isolated situation. But when I took the time to acknowledge what people were saying to me and really looked at Tekken 8 as a whole and all of the lies and the negligence really around the game, both pre-launch and post-launch, I completely understand why people were like, no, this is a load of nonsense. So my original video, you know, I walk some of that back. Now I don't walk back all of it, which I'll get to in a little bit, but I definitely acknowledge where people are coming from. And as it stands, Harada has redacted that apology, so the Tekken community really, you know, had no apology for the poor communication surrounding the Genmaji stage and having to pay for it. Now, in response to that, the Tekken community have review bombed Tekken 8. Now, there's a lot of mixed feelings on this. I am neutral on it because I think if people feel a certain way, whether it's review bombing or voting with their wallet, I think they should do that. I've always advocated for that. Whether it's against my favorite game or against the game that I hate the most, my stance remains the same. If you feel that way and you want something to change with the game, then go ahead and do whatever you feel like you need to do. And I've always told people before, voting with your wallet is the way to get people's attention, which it usually is. Then vote with your wallet. Review bombing, you know, it seems harsh, but it might be a way to get the developers' attention to be like, hey, we don't like what we're seeing, you need to change it. And I think the response from the community, when I look at it as a whole, is actually pretty fair. I don't think people are annoyed at paying, from what I can see anyway. Don't flip out when I say that. I don't think people are annoyed about paying specifically. I mean, paying after you've purchased the Ultimate Edition or whatever we want to call it is one thing, and I definitely hear the arguments against that. But I think the thing that people are really angry about, from what I've been told, is the lack of communication. If they were clearly told in the beginning that certain things are not going to be part of the bundle and this is what you're paying for, then I think people would have been a bit like, okay, well, we've been told clearly. Now, the reason that I made my video initially was because I read everything that was being included, and so when I was being tagged in the post, I was a bit like, what is everyone angry about? But obviously not everybody is going to read every single thing. As Blackheart funnily pointed out in the live stream we did, if I pay for the Ultimate Edition, then I expect all the things in there, but they didn't lie because they never specified. But there was an expectation there based on previous business practices.
It's something I don't buy personally because, okay, it's the truth. Technically, it's the truth because it's said on the store, year one character pass. Okay, year one character pass. Okay, but people don't go and read everything, every info possible about what they buy. If I have an Ultimate Edition, I should have everything from the season one pass. Everything. These fucking scammers. This is the deal. This is the deal. Hey, but it's like when they said it's like when they said, listen, it's the scummiest thing they've done since frame data issue. Since the frame data issue. I swear. I swear. Yeah, but frame data is frame data. You know, it's something that costs us a lot. Yeah.
But why are you so angry? This conversation has been ongoing. There's a lot of people in the community that have chimed in, and I've got some screenshots here from a games developer called Del Walker. Now, I've spoken about Del Walker before. I, not always agreed with some of the things I've seen him putting on Twitter, and there's been things where I've agreed with him as well. So I'm a little bit neutral on Del's talking points. I wanted to read them to you guys and then give my thoughts on it. Don't go and make any knee-jerk reactions. Let me get through the tweets because I think it's fair to hear both sides, and then I'll give you my thoughts on what he said. So Del Walker tweeted out saying, "Hi, game developers perspective here. I believe Tekken 8 showcases how some game fans are creating conditions for their favorite games to disappear. Here's why. The community is upset about a $5 DLC stage even for character season pass holders. But consider this. Tekken 2 and 3 cost $50 to $60 to buy in 1997, and Tekken 8 costs $50 to $70 in 2024. PS5 era development costs today range from $60 to $250 million, whereas GTA 3 on PS1 was $5 million. With Tekken 8 selling 2 to 3 million units so far, the game probably isn't financially sustainable yet, so the $5 DLC stage and the $8 DLC characters are clearly necessary. Harada has previously tweeted that a stage cost around $350,000 to make, so making it free or part of the character season pass would likely hurt financially. Tekken 8 on paper is an astonishingly risky bet. It's almost delusional on paper and can only survive with every current Tekken player throwing $5 at it every 3 to 4 months, or aggressive growth. The fan base, whilst passionate, isn't growing enough and seems uninterested in the financial realities. They review bomb these sustainability efforts, then wonder why franchises like Soul Calibur or Virtua Fighter are gone. Now, just to address that part, I don't know what the costs of making Tekken 8 are. Logically speaking, it makes complete sense to lean in favor of course, PlayStation 5 games are going to cost more than PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if I'm being completely honest now, I don't want this to sound like I'm being harsh towards the Tekken team or Dell or anybody in the games industry, but it's really not on the consumer to care about the costs of these things. I completely understand. Maybe Virtua Fighter and Soul Calibur don't exist because people didn't support them enough. But I think if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think people should really have to care. I understand where it's coming from, and pointing it out to people is completely fine. I don't know if it costs $350,000 to make a stage. That seems absolutely absurd. And if it's costing that much to make stages, if I'm being completely real with you, I'd say invest that money elsewhere, like balance patches and actual characters. I'm assuming though, if a stage costs $350,000 to make, what is a character cost like $1 million? I don't know what the financial is behind it, but the bottom line here is that I don't think it is on us to care. I really don't. There's a part of me that's like, of course I don't want Tekken to go away, of course, but there's another part of me that's like, and I don't mean this to come across rude to Dell, but it feels like game developers and people in these studios try to, I hate using this word, but gaslight people in the community. Like, oh, we're spending all this money, we're doing X, Y, and Z, give us more. I don't know if that's the best way to go about asking gamers to support your game. I do side with the community where they're like, basic communication would have gone a long way. Of course, I stand by, don't make assumptions of anything. If you're buying something, make sure you read, despite what the previous expectations were. That should be a rule for all things in life. That's something that I stand by, and I believe people should, going forward, read exactly what they're buying and not just have expectations based on previous practices. However, as somebody that has their own community, I think it's very important to communicate properly. I don't think this would have been an issue if communication was had. He also goes on to say there's also a lot of streamers that devote time to promoting Tekken, and frankly the community doesn't support them enough. And then he's tagged a bunch of creators in there and he said should all have more subscribers. So he's talking about King J, Tendo, Speed Kicks, Main Man, King Fu Kobe, Miro, Spaghetti Rep, all of these people are saying that the community should support Tekken streamers more. I can't stand by that. I'm sorry. As somebody that is a part of the community, as somebody that receives support from the community, I don't really ask people to support me. Or rather, the way that I want people to support me is by watching my content and being like, I want to support this guy. I don't know if pointing that out does the streamers any, any favors whatsoever. I don't think you should ask people in the community to support. I don't think anybody should make that insinuation. I don't think any of those streamers would ever make that insinuation anyway. I think we all understand that if our content is good enough and people like us enough, they will want to support, but it's not a requirement. I mean, first of all, making videos on YouTube and having people come and watch them puts money in the creator's pocket anyway. Having our channel subscribed to and having our videos have a lot of views has sponsors reach out to us and say, hey, people watch your videos, do you want to be sponsored by us? There's loads of things that people do simply by clicking on our videos that I would say is enough. Now, in more recent times, people have been like very generous towards me and donated to me and given me stuff, but I'm never going to ask for it because, again, I feel like the content should speak for itself. And saying that people don't support the streamers, and frankly they should, and take money out of their own pocket simply because these people are promoting Tekken, I can't stand behind that. I honestly think that if you want to support me, or you want to support King J or Tendo or Miro or Mainman, you should do it because their content has spoken to you in a way that makes you want to support them. So I can't get behind that. We make this content because we want to. I'm not making it to build a business off it. Although, look, I'm always transparent with you guys. Of course, with the growth of my channel, it has definitely helped. Okay, there's bills that I can pay now without having to dip into my monthly paycheck from work, and that's great. Hopefully that continues to grow, but it's never going to be a thing where, oh, I'm supporting this game, so support me. It doesn't really work like that. The community will support who they want to support, and there's definitely streamers that get a lot of support, and that's because they've put the work in and people really resonate with what they're saying, and so it's reflected in that. It's reflected in the subs and the donations and all that stuff. Now, one of the reasons that I think Tekken's issues have gotten worse and worse is that it has been a stack. So again, when I had my original take, I was looking at a very isolated situation. Why is everybody expecting this? But when you peel it back and you think about it, Tekken 8 has done itself no favors from the get-go. They lied about the store, right? Or sorry, they didn't say anything about the store, so they didn't outright lie, but it was very, very misleading, right? We've got all of these Tekken coins in Tekken 8 that are useless, right? You just keep on getting them after every ranked match, you get them everywhere you play. And when I saw that initially, I was like, oh, this is great. I can always just buy stuff. There's no need for me to go to a store. Little did we know, these coins were basically only going to be worth anything 2 months into the game. That's it. You get 2 months out of these, and then everything else that is worthwhile you gotta invest real money into. So that was the first red flag, and then a battle pass was added. And I've heard the talking point, if you don't like it, don't indulge. But I do think that players should hold the developers' feet to the fire. And I also think, much like you guys did with me, where I had my bad take and my chocolate brownie take, you guys held my feet to the fire and you said, hey Mike, you know, we support your content, but that was a load of bullshit. And I had to look at it and be like, do you know what? I hear where they're coming from. I completely get it. So I do think that the constant stacking is really starting to piss people off. And this Gen Magi thing was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And maybe we're on like a turning point now where people are really going to start getting angry. Now, it is fair to say that Tekken is experiencing, I think, record highs right now with the release of Heihachi, which is as expected. He is their poster child, right? He is the guy in Tekken, and he's come back, and he is, I don't want to make this about Heihachi's design, I don't like it. He is almost unrecognizable to me. The Mishima karate style that we've always been accustomed to, when I look at Heihachi, it's almost like a bastardization of it. He's just another install, brain dead mix up, you know, zero execution character, but it's working, you know, people seem to like it. So this is just me and my elitist assholeness talking, I guess. I just don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of what they did to Jin either. The only two Mishimas in this game to me that are really recognizable are Kazuya and Devil Jin. Reina again is a hybrid, so that's a story for another day. But Tekken is experiencing record highs right now. There's a lot of people playing, so maybe it's working. Now there's been a lot of discourse online. Now obviously you guys know that King J is my friend, and it's not that my friends need defending at all. I'm not here to defend people, but really I am here to talk about the notion that people have towards certain content creators, or rather not the notion, the way they react to certain things. You guys have watched King J's videos, you've watched my videos. I'm pivoting the conversation a little bit here. One thing that I saw on Twitter is that King J had his take on the situation. He really wasn't happy with people review bombing the game. He thinks it's not good for the game's longevity, and that people are being a little bit they're overreacting too much. Now, you don't have to agree with that take. We're not here to dispute that take. We're not here to side with it. But what I don't understand is that you hear somebody like King J, who you can go on his YouTube channel and you can see he has been taking shots at Tekken since it came out now, saying that he doesn't like this and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like this, he doesn't like that. And then he says that, you know what, this Gen Magi thing is not a big deal. People should have read the blueprint, blah, blah, blah. You know, similar take to me, although he has stayed, he hasn't moved. I've moved my take a little bit. He hasn't moved his take. And then people started calling him a shill. And this is a word that you hear thrown around the community all the time. Now, what doesn't make sense to me is that how can somebody who is constantly, I don't want to say shitting on the game, but critiquing the game, right? Saying this isn't good and this isn't good. How can they have 9 takes where it's like, yeah, I don't like this and I don't like that and this is frustrating and I need to take a break from this game and it's annoying. And then he defends Namco and he defends the Tekken team and, you know, it's his opinion. And then people start calling him a shill. This is something that you see thrown around, and if I'm being real with you guys, I think that if you look at somebody's history, and out of which I know the people on Twitter are well aware of, and then you call them a shill based on one take that you don't agree with, that to me is some low IQ talking point, and really you're just there for a participation trophy to say, I took part in the dogpiling of said content creator, I took part in this conversation, and you have nothing meaningful to add. You can't go to somebody's, well, you can do it, but if you go to somebody's channel and you see them critiquing Tekken, and you see in the responses, oh, crybaby, 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 and then the very same people will come back and say, this person's a shill, a corporate shill, because they had a take that you don't agree with. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, and I would really like to hear those people that say that about content creators and try to understand their mentality, because I don't understand it. I couldn't understand it. It's like if I sung WWE's praises, right, the last 4 years, of which I believe they deserve, right? If you guys saw Bad Blood, we won't get into it now, this is a Tekken video, but I've been singing their praises for the past 4 years, but in the 10 years prior to that, I was ripping them because it sucked. The product was pretty bad. You can't then turn around to me and say that I'm a corporate shill now just because they're doing something that I like, and then negate the fact that I basically ripped into them for 10 years for a bad product. It doesn't really make any sense, and this Gen Magi stage situation has really, in my opinion, although some of the discourse has been good, and I've been lucky enough that people in my community and 99% of the people that I communicate with have been very respectful and just pushed back on my points. Seeing other people being attacked for their points is like, come on guys, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Calling people shills just because they had a take you don't agree with, that's not it. Now again, I understand the frustrations around Tekken 8 are starting to reach a fever pitch, and Harada's constant negligence, and we're saying Harada because there's a lot of people in the Tekken team that are nameless. He's the figurehead, and usually when you have a leader, you refer to them. So that's just how we're referring to it. There's been a lot of negligence, right? There's not been enough emphasis on things that matter. There's been a lot of emphasis on, let's put $500 sunglasses out there and create a whole promo with Kazuya wearing them, which is very suspect, by the way, but we won't get into that right now. Let's put out Nikes or whatever it was they put. I can't remember. I think it was Nike. Let's put those advertisements in the game. Let's add to the store over and over again. Let's not address Dragunov. This patch did not address Dragunov whatsoever. He's still the guy. Nothing changed. And then ranked mode is not being addressed. Although I will say with ranked mode, I played about 2 hours the other day, and I shit you not, and you guys know that I have had a lot of things to say about ranked. Every single person that I faced, minus the people that I demoted during the set or got promoted through fighting me, every single person I faced was a Tekken god. And I was like, wow, this hasn't happened ever. I usually get a Bushin here, a Kishin there, a Tekken King, a Tekken Emperor, maybe a God of Destruction. Every single person I faced was Tekken god. So I was like, oh, maybe they fixed something in the background. I don't know. But I thought I'd highlight that because I do shit on ranked constantly, and I will continue to shit on ranked until they fix it. But that's a good thing. But there's been so many things that have been stacked in the game and not enough addressing the problems that people are really angry right now. And then when they see somebody that they perceive to be defending Tekken 8, or I guess you could say he was, immediately they want to attack. So I think that this is a very volatile time in the Tekken community right now. It's weird because people are angry, yet Tekken's experiencing record highs right now. But you know, Heihachi has just come out. I don't anticipate people sticking around for too long, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how the next character pans out. Who knows? It could be a explosive guest character that just makes everybody jump on the game, or it could be something that really, you know, deals a body blow to Tekken, and we could really see some real issues then. And so I just really wanted to talk about all of these things because I'm watching what's going on with Tekken right now, and it's weird because on one hand I'm seeing some of the most well-known content creators and video game players and whatnot, looking at this situation and being like, I'm tapping out, man. And they're tapping out because of the gameplay. Then you've got all of these monetization practices where people are saying that it's just too much, there's not enough gameplay changes, we're playing the same game basically since the first major patch where they nerfed heat. And then you've got a lot of people saying, oh, everyone's crying. But one thing I have to say to those people that are saying everyone's crying is that Tekken has always been held to a very, very high standard. I know that some people have been playing these games that are riddled with microtransactions, riddled with glitches, have poor balancing. They're just not very good across the board. They're seeing the Tekken situation. They're going, what the hell are these guys always crying about? But the thing is that although the game you play, you might have been used to that bullshit of having to deal with that all the time. Loot boxes, X, Y, and Z. Tekken players are not used to dealing with that. Tekken has really, in my opinion, been the gold standard of fighting games for quite some time now. That's just my opinion. And Tekken 8, it doesn't feel like that. I don't want to say it's not the gold standard anymore. I'm not sure there is a gold standard. You might argue Street Fighter 6 is right now. But they've had very, very problematic issues with their monetization. And I've heard from a lot of Street Fighter players that I didn't know that they're also not happy with some of the gameplay balancing in the game. I didn't know that. Whenever I play Street Fighter 6, I have a good time, and I've been playing it since Bison came out. But I'd be lying if I said that I'm really involved in that side of things. So I don't know if there's a gold standard right now. It certainly ain't Mortal Kombat 1, we know that for sure. But it is just all over the place right now. It's a very, very weird time, and there's even stuff going on at tournaments. I don't know the ins and outs of this. Apparently a Chinese player was disqualified at Tiger Uppercut. I haven't heard really what's going on. If somebody wants to clue me in there, because I went on Twitter and I really don't get what's going on. I saw Nee speaking about it. It's just a weird time right now in the Tekken community. It is really, really weird. But I'm not here to doom and gloom. It was really just to point some things out and acknowledge some things. And I guess the next update for this game is really going to be very telling of where things are going to go. Now, if I was in the Tekken team, my thought process would be like, there's a lot of negative attention, right? Tekken's starting to build this negative stigma against it. We've just been review bombed. People don't like what we did with the Genmaji stage. We need to come out of the gate with something that is just going to blow people away, because people have very low attention spans. I think if they did that, it might help. One way to do that, obviously, is to bring in a guest character that is really going to get people like going wow. Now with guest characters, you got to be careful, because people want their favorite Tekken characters to return. And so if you get a guest character in there that isn't going to be unanimously praised, which there is one, we all know who he is, then you might cause a situation where like, oh my god, a fucking guest character, where's my Ancient Ogre, where's my Julia Chang, where's my Anna, where's my Armor King? But if you get a particular dragon in the game, particular chairman of a clan, former chairman, if you get that particular individual in the game, I think people will just be like, whatever to all the other problems. Maybe not completely, the shine will wear off eventually, but I don't know, man. This video was completely unplanned. I didn't really have much to say. I just really wanted to acknowledge what is going on right now. I think Harada deleting that tweet hasn't helped, because it's put more attention on it. He should have known better than to put something up like that, because those are his employers, right? If we're going down the path of his employers made him take it down, then he shouldn't have done it in the first place, because now it's like, where's our apology? And if he took it down himself and he thought, I don't owe you guys shit, and he had a change of heart, because it happens, then he should have thought about it more before he put it up. I don't know. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but we'll see. As I said, you put a certain man in a suit and a red shirt in the game, problems might go away, man. I don't know. I think I could overlook a lot of things if you let me tiger drop people. I'm just saying. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will see you maybe in like an hour's time for the stream that is on today. And then we will hopefully the following day, if I get my hands on the early copy, then I'll have Sparking Zero, and we can jump into that. But I'll catch you guys very soon. Take care and peace.